Cowboys were heading to Oakland Sunday. Dak Prescott and company have won their last 2 and likely need to win their next 3 to have a shot at the postseason. They get Zeke back next week, but as it stands now, this week comes before next week, so they have to play the Raiders without Zeke. CC, Dak and the offense look good against the Giants last week. Can they pick up where they left off?
Yes, I think they can, especially if they can. The Raiders have some pass rushers. Now, they put more pressure on you than the Giants, the current state of the New York football Giants. Now, the football Giants, 2.5 quarters, they gave Dallas fits. Now, Oakland, are they going to come out? Are they going to be a version of the team we saw last week in Kansas City? Because, shoot, they might as well pack up and go to Vegas then. If that's the case, the Dallas Cowboys will run the football. Jerry Jones mentioned Dak Prescott has become a better quarterback without Ezekiel. You know the reason why? Because he realized them wide receivers, they are not that good. I can't rely on them but so often. Let's run the ball. Let's make the game simple. I'll take care of the football, realizing what my limitations are, and I'll take a couple shots down the field, realizing I got to generate some big plays for this offense to be special. Also, Sean Lee's back on the defense, and he solves a lot of the problems for that defense when he's in there, Nick.
CC, one thing that you've made me focus more on is who's practicing and who's not. Now, not all of these were injury related, but yesterday's practice for the Oakland Raiders, David Emerson, Amari Cooper, Mario Edwards, Bruce Irvin, Marshawn Lynch, Khalil Mack, Henry Melifonwu, Clive Edward did not participate in practice. That's about 20% of your active game day roster potentially.
Yes.
Jared Cook, Feliciano, Keith McGill, Denico Autry, those guys were limited participants. That's 12 guys, including some big names, Amari Cooper, Bruce Irvin, Lynch, Mack. Now, with Lynch, I think it was a veteran day, maintenance day. Potentially same thing with Khalil Mack, but that's still a lot of guys.
Yes, on Wednesday and Thursday, those are the 2 biggest days, work days.
Right, and we talk about the Cowboys being in a must-win. Listen, so is the Oakland.
Yes.
Oakland, they're not eliminated. You don't necessarily have to have 10 wins to make the playoffs in the AFC. 9 theoretically could do it. So when you have that many guys missing practice before what is absolutely a game you've got to win, when you didn't really show up against the Chiefs, I think the Cowboys will be able to pick up where they left off. One key is, though, this. Dallas came into the game last week, last in the NFL in yards after catch. They're getting 75 yards a game. Last 75 yards a game. Last week they had 222. 222 yards after catch. So
yes.
Dak's numbers were great, but it was short throws. Guys took off down the sideline, down the middle of the field. If the Cowboys can duplicate that, this should be an easy game for them.
All right, staying in the NFC East, Nick Foles takes over for Carson Wentz at quarterback for the Eagles. But the good news, they face the Giants at the Meadowlands. That's about as good as it gets when it comes to opponents. Eagles are 11-2, Giants are 2-11. So, CC, what do you expect from Nick Foles against the Giants this weekend?
I've been fortunate enough that I've seen Nick Foles play some good football. I believe that Doug Peterson, he will be a guy potentially who's going to develop a number of quarterbacks, the same way Andy Reid did and a number of coaches in that West Coast system. Yeah, well, he's got Carson Wentz. It's easy to say that. But I have that feeling, and talking to people around, they're really impressed with how he presents the information to the quarterbacks and their ability to run a couple different things. They run some of the stuff that Chip Kelly ran that Nick Foles was very familiar with. And also they run some West Coast. So I expect him to be successful. I have more confidence in him than most people do. This is a good football team. The team has to support the quarterback. And he looked pretty good in last week's game when he filled in. Getting the win last week, I think, will be huge for his confidence. But this game where he's starting, he gets all the reps in practice. It's critical for the rest of this team because the team, if he doesn't play well, they're going to have to figure out what kind of story they're going to tell after the game. They're the #1 seed, and then you start making your teammates lie. So I try to tell guys, listen, man, don't make me lie. I need you to play well, Nick. So after the game, we can reassure, and it will send confidence to the team. You'll be shocked at the defense, how much they'll be improved in the enthusiasm, the special teams, because of that question mark with Nick Foles being their starter.
And it's perfect team you're playing.
Perfect.
I would rather be playing the Giants this week than the Browns. The Browns are desperately trying not to go 0-6.
Yes.
The Giants are, we focused on Eli. Is he starting? Is he not starting? But the other part of that was positions other than the quarterback. They are playing less talented young players to get a look at those guys.
Yes.
And we saw Dez had some rookie who didn't really need to be in single coverage on Dez shake that tackle off and go to the house unlike he'd done in years. We saw, especially once Landon Collins went out of that football game, how easy it was to just catch and run on those guys. So if you're the Eagles, you can have a very simple game plan. Pitch and catch and rely on those yards after catch. The Giants gave up the 220 to Dallas and have that work for you. And the other thing is Philly forces turnovers as well as just about any team in the league. Eli is known to turn the ball over.
Lean on that.
Right. Like, I mean, this is a game where I think the defense could just win it for you alone, and then anything Foles does is a bonus.
And let's not forget, the Eagles are playing for something. They clinch a first-round bye with a win. They're going in there. They want to come out with something.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot on the line, and that also could put a lot of pressure on.